Hands on the bottom of the feet as well. So it's a lot just about stilling yourself. Now with reflexology, we always start with the right foot, okay? Because the right foot represents the past and the left foot represents the present. So we want to deal with the past before we do the present. So before we start, we're going to do a little warm-up massage. And I'm not too fussy about the massage. There is a little massage in your workbook there, which I was going to print off. But you can just use your intuition with it. I can just get to roll them up as far as they'll go, yeah. Because when I do the massage, always keep the foot that you're not working on covered. Oops, and then I didn't put my towel over my black dress. You can understand why you put the towel over the black dress. Can I grab you, just chuck that towel over my lap? That's the only reason why, it's just so you don't, especially if you're wearing black and your uniforms are black. Okay, so just effleurage around the ankle joints. So just a little warm-up massage before we start, say 5 minutes. Tendon stroking. Really feel a little bit of popping. Top of Isla's feet. Massaging the toes. Rotating them one way, other way. So you can be a bit inventive with your massage. You don't always have to do the same routine, although there is a little routine in there for you to follow. Have you done a little massage with pedis? Yeah. Alternate stroking, this always feels really nice. And make sure the strokes flow from one thing to another. See, that to that flows. So rather than just jumping around, oh, I'm going to do something up here now, I'm going to do something down there. Try and get your strokes to flow, and you can slap the feet. Always go down, rub the heel, and I always wheel around a bit in my chair as well. So you don't have to stay here and become uncomfortable, because it's about you being comfortable as well. So make sure you move your chair around so that you're always behind the work. Because now I'm going to here. And I might apply some pressure on the solar planks. Is that pressure all right? Check in with your client, make sure the pressure's okay. You can knuckle the sole. You can thumb the sole. Just with your thumbs. Just stimulating all the reflex areas. You can scissor the feet. So remember we looked at the bone structure, and the bones all run down here that attach to the toes, so let's loosen up in between those bones. I'm giving a little scissor. And you can do that in between the fingers of the hands as well. So scissoring, that's called. That's what I call it. Don't know if that's its formal name. Okay, and then we can stretch. Let's see how far this joint will stretch. Always supporting the foot when you stretch. Now I'm going to see how far it stretches up the other way. Around the Achilles, we might decide to, while we're there, just to feel that Achilles tendon. Do a little bit of work around it. Yep. And how do we know the difference between a tendon and a ligament?
One tends to muscle to bone and one to bone to bone.
All the way around.
Yeah, well done, well done. Yep, and then I'm going to rotate, see if there's any restrictions. I should have looked at your consultation sheet. Of course, I've done that and written my profile. Any contraindications? No. So obviously do that first. And I always find with any massage, when you're going to finish and go and move on to something else, just start off lightly and then start to get a bit firmer, and you're always pushing up towards the heart with your massage strokes, and a bit lighter as you come back, because that's the way the circulation goes, doesn't it? You want everything going back towards the heart so that everything can do its job up there. You don't want to be dragging stuff down to the feet. We're pushing. Okay, and then a bit softer. And then become softer and softer as you're finishing. Just finish with a little fan stroke. And I quite like just to hold the feet. And again, I do my little breath thing because I am the sort of person that's zoom, 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 zoom. So I find it's really important for me to connect with the client. Okay. And just holding a foot. It actually feels nice, doesn't it? Just someone holding your foot. Lovely. Okay. So then I would do the warm up. Do you want me to demonstrate that again on the other side? No, on the other side. So do that one. And then I'd start the opening moves. So the opening moves are about the zones. So you're walking the zones. Okay. So I've done a little massage. To open the body so it's ready to be healed, for healing. So the opening moves, you're walking up the zones of the feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going across the shoulder line, the diaphragm line. And normally when I hand these out, I hand them out without the little lines on, so then the students can think, okay, where are all those lines? So thumb walk the 5 zones of the foot to open the body. So again, supporting, starting in zone 1, which is this zone from the big toe down, thumb walk. So this is the main technique. So I've got a few techniques written on the board. It's just slow, methodical walking with your thumb, applying pressure with the tip of your thumb, making sure your thumb is bent, because if your thumb is like that, you're going to end up with an injury. If your thumb is bent, you're going to have much more force. And you are just methodically walking. Think of a, I don't know if any of you sew, but you know when you get the cushions with the pins? Think of you walking along and you're pushing in a pin into each cushion. It's sticking out a bit and you need to push it in. So it's slow and it's methodical. Okay, so that's the thumb walking. Later on, when we find something, we might do a bit of hooking out and rotating, but we'll just start with the thumb walking. Go down a bit more. Can that table come up a bit more? Because I'm thinking about my own. So make sure that's set up before you start too, that you're not leaning down, so that the feet are going to be in the right position.
Does that hurt?
Yeah, maybe just one more. So that your back is always straight. Okay, yep, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to thumb walk up the 5 zones. 1. And I'm just going to check on the pressure. Is pressure okay? So it's firm, it's methodical, and you do actually get into a bit of a trance when you're doing this. And when there's some nice music playing, something nice and slow.
It's a bit too firm.
A bit too firm there?
Yeah.
Okay. I always forget my own strength because I've done this
It's
for
okay.
so
I'm
long.
quite sensitive on this.
Okay. You see, now if I'd read my profile, she probably would have said something about that. And I would have noted that in the consultation, so I know. So now I'm keeping that in my mind. There's something there, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I can feel stuff already. And use your intuition. Does anyone know what your intuition is? So sort of a bit of a bag. Your gut feeling, yeah. How many people have a gut feeling about things sometimes? It's really interesting because I just was reading something about the gut, and apparently there's lots and lots of brain neurons in your gut. I've just found them. Yeah. About as many as there is in the cat's brain, but unlike the brain where they're all clumped together, they're spread out through your digestive tract. And so now, gut feeling is actually quite true. They orchestrate the digestion. Okay, so I'm doing the 5 zones. And so you'll see there, it says thumb walk the 5 zones of the foot to open the foot. When I get to the top, rather than taking my hand off and going to the bottom of the foot, I just drag down so I stay in contact with my client as much as possible. Okay, so Anna's got a few little spots that are tender. And I can just, I don't know, I do get a gut feeling when I touch them, but sometimes you can just feel a little bit of tension, or it's a bit tighter there, the temperature's different, there's just something, it just goes, oh, I can feel that, okay? So I want you to try and see if you can, and if you don't, it doesn't matter. It takes quite a bit of time of, touching a lot of bodies to get that feeling and start trusting it, and you'll find if you ask someone, oh, something there, they'll go, yes, it's usually right. Okay, so now we're going to do the lateral zones, which were the ones that go across here. So thumb walk, medial to lateral, and back again along the shoulder, diaphragm, waist, and pelvic line. So medial, which side? This side or that side?
That side.
That side. It actually doesn't really matter, but I'll do it the way it says. So medial side, the inside. Well done, Amy. So I'm going to go across the shoulder line, thumb walk. So there's a lot of thumb walking, so you can understand why if you don't hold your thumb like that. I just breathe normally. I can feel quite a bit up in the shoulder area as well, along the shoulder. And Isla did say to me before that she did have shoulder problems. So, okay, so later on I'm going to do a bit of rotating and I might do a bit of hooking out. But we're just opening the feet at the moment. So I'm just making a little mental note at the back. Okay, yeah, there is some, and she's probably sore around here as well, which is also the shoulder reflex, this area here. So
And it's funny because I'm already feeling emotional.
That's right, you're allowed. So sometimes that can be an effect that you start touching or with you massaging something that and you can have an emotional response because you've hit on a little tender area. It's okay, we're allowed to be. So we're allowed to be. Remember, we're emotional. I said we're looking at the whole person, not just. And has anyone ever had like sometimes, because we are in a culture that's meant to stuff their emotion. And I'm going to look for tension along this line because what does this diaphragm muscle do? What's its big job? It's involved with breathing. It pulls down every time you breathe. Sorry, I'm not giving you my undivided attention.
No, that's
because
okay. That's fine.
I'm just.
That's why I said I've been there.
Yeah. Okay. And then we're going to do the waistline through the middle. And I'm not going to work through all these sequences because I think once you've got the hang of it, you'll be able to, I'll get Isla to photocopy some of these and you'll be able to follow it yourself. Because otherwise it's going to take too long and you guys aren't going to get a decent going. And the last one, the pelvic line. Okay, so if someone does end up crying on your table, massage table or reflexology table or hot stone table, okay, what are you going to do? Because that's going to be a bit of a biggie, isn't it?
Just comfort them. Box of tissues.
Just pop a box of tissues close by, yeah. Yeah.
A glass of water. Maybe.
Yeah. I would probably just...
You wouldn't want to get into...
No, I would just probably stop for a while and just hold them, like who said, and it just comfort them. So that is a comfort. And then just ask, look, yeah, it's okay, now you're ready for me to carry on. And don't ever say to anyone, stop crying, because I do believe that crying is a part of the healing process too, and we don't cry enough. We see it as a weakness in our culture rather than it's a healing thing. And I love the way one of your Maori or Islander, you're Maori as well. I love the way they wail at and cry at funerals because I think that's very open the pelvic line. Okay, so and then you're going to cover that foot and you're going to do exactly the same on this foot. Okay, so you massage it. You may have massaged it before. You may decide to do the massage and the opening move on one foot first and then the other. You can decide on that. It doesn't really matter. You can go massage, massage, but of course then you're shifting your towel around a lot. Okay. And then you'll see it says sequence 1. And this is on both feet because we're doing this sequence on both feet because you have the pituitary gland reflex on both feet. You have the shoulder on both feet. You have the diaphragm line on both feet. You have the respiratory system on both feet. But as you go along, you'll see the next sequence is the right foot only because there are only some organs on the right foot, like your liver, okay, and there's a gallbladder there. And of course, the large colon comes up and along across here. So it's all thumb walking those areas. So let's just start both feet. Let's do this. Commence with your client's right foot, thumb walking up and down the sides of the big toe. So whenever you're working on an area, just support. So I'm going to be going up and down the big toe, okay? And I'm feeling for, feeling for any congestion. So what does the big toe represent in the body?
Brain.
Pituitary.
The head, the brain, the pituitary gland. Yep, feeling for tension. Okay, and then it says hold on the pituitary gland, which is right in the middle here. So I'm just going to take it. Okay, then it says work the occipital ridge. Does everyone know where the occipital ridge is? Where's your occiput?
The back. The bottom of the
Okay,
hand.
so see the big toe there? See the crease? So this is your neck. So where this crease is your occipital ridge. So just thumb walking. The occipital ridge, looking for any tension. I might decide to go back again. Yep, cool. Okay, thumb walk the 5 zones of the big toe. So just divide your big toe into 5 little zones like you do the feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and thumb walk the 5 zones. So every little reflex is covered. Hello?
I'm just a nosy part.
That's right. 3. Not too hard? I do forget my own strength because I've been doing it for so long. And I'm like it firm. You see, you'll find that you massage the way you like it, and then you have to keep telling yourself, oh, actually, but this person on the table isn't me, and they might be different to me, and they probably are. That was a big thing I had to learn. Okay, so I've done the 5 zones. Okay, the neck. So the neck is represented all around the big toes. This is the head, so this is the neck. So we're going to walk around, thumb walk around. Now when you get to the front here, rather than using your thumb, you can use your fingers for walking around too. So once I get to the front of the neck, I actually use my finger. Okay, so walk one row across the next reflex, it says. And you see how I've drawn on the little pictures where the neck is? So you can see exactly where you are. This is where I have to do it. Okay, I haven't drawn in the eyes. So the eyes is here, thumb walk, up and down all the sides of the toes. Okay, so now I'm going up and down all the sides of the toes. And remember, we're going to do this on both feet. So once I've finished it on this foot, I would go over and do it on the other foot. The whole